respond.
Due to recent setbacks, some banks are still applying for federal bailout money. Yet individuals and families who pay their mortgage on time have found themselves underwater because of falling property rates. What are your views on the government supporting another bailout, and how would you help those families that need aid?
The original bailout, which passed in Congress when President Bush finally agreed to ask for that bailout in the fall of '08, that was intended to partly be used for saving the banking system, which it succeeded in doing. People have written and said that there were, economists have written and said that we would have been in a depression if we had not done that bailout at that particular time. However, the administration in the latter part of '08 never tried to put any of that into really doing something for the people, the individuals who were being driven out of their homes by the foreclosure crisis, which had been going on for 3 years before that time already. And every one of the efforts to switch how that money is used, and the new administration, the Obama administration, has tried several different efforts, but the banks have repeatedly refused to go along with that. We are probably not going to do any more bank bailouts on that. There is no need for that, but we do need to try to find a way. We have done counseling for people. We have tried to get money out by community groups to work on that foreclosure crisis, and that has been very poorly done at the administrative level. And we really do, I do agree, we do need to do more for the home foreclosure crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Olver. Mr. Engel, you have a minute and a half.
There are really two parts to that question. On the bank bailouts part may have been necessary, but it's a dangerous precedent in terms of the corporate state I'm talking about. As far as housing policy is concerned, the federal government has a miserable record of failure, and it's largely due to the Democratic Party's support of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. They created the housing bubble in many respects. We have Mr. Gunn believes in the free market, and has said on other occasions that, yeah, let housing prices go down, let people become homeless, I suppose, because they can't pay their mortgages. Pain is necessary in a free market society. He's right. I'm really not prepared to accept everybody else's pain in the name of the free market theory. We need a different approach to housing policy. It has to be a long-term approach. I kind of am fond of the old public housing system, which gave people public housing as an interim while they built up the savings necessary to produce mortgage down payments in the 30s and 40s, later in turn into something else. But we need a restructuring. It would take me longer than I have to talk about how to reform housing policy, to get the federal government in a partnership for the housing market, to make sure that everybody has a roof over their heads. I'm sure as a roof for Mr. Gunn, you agree everybody should have a roof over their heads.
They can afford it.
Thank you, Mr. Engel. Mr. Gunn, you have a minute.
Yes, I would have voted against the original bailout. I will vote against any further bailouts. The banks that were failing should have been allowed to fail. They would have been purchased by other banks that had made better decisions to begin with. I'm upside down on my mortgage. I continue to pay it because I'm contractually obligated to do so. The best thing we can do for homeowners is to get government out of the way, get them to stop taking money out of our communities, allow the free market to create jobs, because jobs will pay for houses. We need the government to get out of the way. They created the problem, as Mr. Engel alluded to, with the CRA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac debacle. We need to get government out of the housing business.
Thank you, Mr. Gunn.